This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined by the European super-bantamweight champion, Gamal Yafai. We're a couple of days away from his bout with Jason Cunningham here in Manchester. Now I've got all of that out of the way. How you doing, Gamal?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Very well. Always like it when people ask me how I'm doing at the start of interviews, so it's off to a good start. Talk to me about the fight. You'd make the first defence of European super-bantamweight title this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. Look forward to putting on an explosive performance and getting the W on Saturday night.
Talk to us about Jason Cunningham. Obviously, he's somebody that we know a lot about domestically. He's kind of gone up and down through the weights. He's fought your brother in the past. What are you expecting from him on Saturday night?
Expect him to, big game, come for it because this is a big chance for him. Might be tricky in his southpaw stance, but I've got to answer all them questions, and which I will do, and I'm confident doing so.
Last time out, big win on away soil, enemy territory, so to speak, against Luca Rigoldi. Must give you an awful lot of confidence getting the win, going away, picking up that belt, and coming back over here with it.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of confidence, especially that the fact I never went in there with any momentum or anything. Was out for so long with injuries, nightmare 2 years for me, and to go over there and rip it off him was a big thing for me. And I'm already getting better now, and you see that on Saturday night.
When you mentioned there kind of like the stop-start element of your career and being injured, and it's boxing at the best of times is a bit of a lonely sport, but when that's happening, just how difficult is that for a fighter?
Yeah, I think seeing boxing, you'll have your little lonely patches, and it might be hard, but with me it was just on a different scale. It was like I'd got a ruptured bicep, was out for a while, 6, 7, 8 months, and then come back. Training for a fight. Last week of training, ruptured my other bicep. So it was like, bloody hell, what the hell was going on here? So it was an absolute nightmare for me. And then I thought to myself, like, do I want to go? It wasn't even just being out the ring, it was just mentally as well, just not just boxing, just like day-to-day life. Like, I was just sitting at home doing nothing, for like 6 months. I had a son, when I first done bicep, I just had my son, and I couldn't even hold him for 6 weeks because I was bloody in the. Because I just when my son come out in September. He come out of hospital September the 8th, and I had boxed in Birmingham. And that's when I ruptured my bicep, the same night, and obviously like I couldn't even pick my son up or anything. Bloody, it was an absolute nightmare. And then for 6 weeks couldn't pick him up, and then eventually. Everything was sweet. I was a bit. I'm not putting on the kind of depression and all that, but I was definitely depressed a bit. Sitting home, just not doing nothing. Couldn't make it income. Couldn't box, do what I love, and then eventually come back. Had to get the phone call off Eddie. Listen, you're back. Your fight. I think it was in April time. So I was buzzing again, training hard. Then last week, ruptured my other bicep. I thought, what's going on here? Absolute nightmare. And then I had to go through it all again, and then eventually I come back in the November, following November, come back, fought in Manchester, the same arena I'm fighting Saturday night, won that just in a stay busy fight, and then obviously I was mandatory for the European title, waiting for that, and then COVID hit, had to wait another year, and then finally got it, and then won it, and here I am defending now.
Just go back a little bit and backtrack. I think it's important to discuss things like depression or what fighters certainly go through, because boxing, as we mentioned already, is kind of a lonely sport. But you have to immerse yourself in it so much that when you don't have it, it must be incredibly difficult.
You know what it is? I don't like people to feel sorry for me and that. I'm not the type of person, but like my family wouldn't even know. But like you'd be at home and you'd be depressed and that. You'd be like, got a missus, got a son to provide for. I just bought a house at the time. I couldn't do anything because the house was run down, so I had to do it out. And like, it is me, I can't even fight. I can't even, I'm scared to spend money because I ain't gonna have much left after, and I can't fight. So it was an absolute nightmare. You couldn't have written it what happened to me. But like you said, there's a God up there, and things are starting to change.
You're from, of course, a fighting family, fighting stock, the Yafais. How important is it to have your brothers around you and everybody around you to kind of maintain you throughout that? Everybody goes through ups and downs in their careers, and having people who know what it's like to be in that situation as fellow fighters.
Yeah, massive for me, because like I'm really close to my brothers, so when things ain't going, you know, good for me in my career and it's going great for them, you know, it makes me happy. And you know that they've smashed it. Galal's two-time Olympian, he'll be going professional soon with hopefully Olympic medal. Cal will be a two-time world champion. You know, I'll be on the verge of fighting for a world title. So it's still the way up for us really. You know, we just need Birmingham to get behind us, which, you know, it's getting better. So, you know, we're doing well. You know, like I don't like to blow my own trumpet or anything, but I've done very well considering where I was a year ago, a year and a half ago. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Birmingham is kind of like a sleeping giant for boxing. It's one of being the second city. You want it to really thrive and really do well. There's a lot of good talent coming through Birmingham as well, and the opportunity for you and your brothers to spearhead that must be so appealing.
That's a thing. I don't understand it sometimes with Birmingham. There's so many good fighters. You know, Cal's been the one and only world champion from Birmingham. Galal's the first two-time Olympian in boxing from Birmingham. You know, it's mad, it's crazy. But like you say, we just keep trying. There's a lot of the good pros, you know, from Birmingham that are, you know, on the up, and you know, they don't seem to get massively behind us. But hopefully that will change. It has got better. I feel like, you know, Birmingham getting behind me now, and I'm seeing the reward. So hopefully it continues.
Now, you mentioned kind of having the support of your brothers, but I'm also assuming that there's been some times where, you know, that healthy competition and driving each other forward. I've seen you and Cal playfully over there with each other already today. Cal didn't stop Jason Cunningham. Yeah. Do you want to stop him because of that?
Maybe, yeah. Nah, you know, anyone I get in the ring with, I want to hurt, and, you know, I want to look good doing so. So I know he's a tough fighter, but I'll be lying if I said I wasn't ready. You know, I'm gonna try and stop him. I'm gonna box good. I'm gonna do it all. You know what I mean? Box, fight, be cute, be clever, and that's my plan Saturday night.
Going back to the fight in Italy, what was it like being very much the away fighter, going over there and having that experience? What was that like for you?
Oh, it was a bit weird. You know, we had a lot of problems out there. Not Matchroom, because obviously it was a Matchroom show as well. So like we got looked after in terms of, like, you know, if we needed anything and, you know, things like that. But like there's problems with gloves. They didn't want me wearing my gloves. They want me to wear their gloves, and they wanted to change their gloves as well, and so on. And, you know, there was a few problems, and obviously with the judges as well, I thought to myself, like, I'm going to be up against it here, but I just thought I've just got to beat him well and comfortable, which I did. But other than that, you know, like, it weren't too bad, you know. Like, it was every time I box, like, I'm a matchroom fighter, and I've been, like, spoilt really. You know, you come to these shows, you get spoilt, you get looked after. So I can't really moan from just one time.
Speaking of your brother, he's over there. What next for him? But he was telling me earlier that he's crashed a load of weight. I must hit him up for some weight loss tips. But what can we expect to see from him in the future?
Yeah, well, he was big, man. Carl, he come back in like November, and then we went to Italy, and he was massive. And I never forget we was in Italy, and he'd be screwing. I said this. So the night before I fought, he's on the bed, and he's jumping on his bed, and I'm videoing, and he's took his top off, and he looked massive, his legs and everything, and he's laughing, having a banter, and I'm going, Cal, this ain't on, this ain't serious, you're the worst I've ever seen you, and it was literally the worst I've ever seen him. I said, you need to get your ass back in the gym, man, and yeah, that's what he did. When we got back, he was back training now. We've been away for like 12 weeks training. He's looking a different man now to what he was. I would love to show you the videos, but I can't do that. But yeah, he was massive, and now he's in a good place. No doubt he's going to fight soon, and I can see him winning another world title, definitely at the weight above.
Okay, before I let you go, this weekend, super bantamweight, there is a big fight. Lewis Nery against Brandon Figueroa, brilliant fight. Who are you picking in that?
I'd have to go with Nery, but I wouldn't be surprised if Figueroa won, you know, because he's tall, he's awkward, you know, he's a good boxer. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially with Nery, because Nery blows hot and cold sometimes, and he's changed his camp again, I think, hasn't he? So yeah, it's interesting, but it's not a full-blown conclusion like I would expect Nery to win. But it's a good fight.
Yeah, Nery's kind of had a bit of a strange career. He's had drugs bans, he's missed weight, he's now no longer with Eddie Reynoso. So yeah, I think that's an interesting fight. I think super bantamweight on the world level is one of the best divisions going. There's Murodjon Akhmadaliev, there's Stephen Fulton. You know, it's a real blossoming world level. It must really excite you to the potential for defend the European title. You're knocking on the door for world honours.
Yeah, definitely. Like I look at them all the time, especially now because I used to be I didn't really watch the other fighters in my weight, but yeah, definite now, especially with like you got Akhmadaliev, who's with Matchroom, with DAZN. But why not get this fight over and with him, and maybe look at them kind of fights. If Eddie offered me that fight, I wouldn't say no. But there's loads of good fights about, and I'm happy just to be at this level now and work my way up to world level, and making a name of myself and being the second world champion from Birmingham.
Who would you say the number one is currently, apart from yourself, of course, at super bantamweight? Is it Nery-Figueroa, Akhmadaliev, Fulton?
Listen, I'm not one of them fighters that are deluded. They beat these kids and I think they're number one in the weight or the number one this and I'm not. I'm far up. I ain't the top 5 in my weight. I know that. I'm not stupid. Yeah, there's some good fighters, Akhmadaliev and all that. But I do know that on my day I can beat them type of kids. I'd put Akhmadaliev as number one. I think he's a nightmare. He's good fighter, explosive, strong, non-stop in your face. So I would put him as number one. There's Fulton. Fulton's good, tricky, skillful. That would be an interesting fight, him and Akhmadaliev. But there's a few good ones. Figueroa is good. Nery, good. Nery can punch. There's some good fighters, but my head's just on Cunningham Saturday night, and then we talk about the rest.
Final one that's not to do with you. What do you think of Michael Conlan dropping down at super bantam?
Yeah, good fighter, man. I've always enjoyed watching Conlan. Remember him as amateur, good amateur, good professional. He looks good in good nick as well, super bantamweight. Really nice kid, always gone with Mick. Good fighter, ain't got a bad word to say about him. He's a good fighter. Maybe I think it would be. Personally, I think it would be a bit of a rush. I think I'd like to him have one more fight before he fights one of the world champions, and then but he's definite world contender, definite.
Okay, well, Gamal Yafai, real pleasure catching up with you. The first time we've done this, hopefully not the last. Before I let you go, what can you tell fans to expect when you defend your European super bantamweight title on Saturday night against Jason Cunningham?
Just to see the best Gamal. I always leave it in the ring. Explosive, speed, just try and do it all. I just want to give a good performance. I put up the hard work in, and that's what it's all about Saturday night, just getting that final bit done, and I'm ready.
Okay, well, best of luck on Saturday night. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you, Rob. Cheers.
That's great.